morning. Thank you all for joining us for our outreach event. Today we're launching our official Clean Up Our Community campaign, and we're here with some very illustrious guests. We of course have the Commissioner Doherty. Here you are. Thank you very much. The Commissioner actually is the longest serving Commissioner, as well as the person who's been doing it the longest. In fact, the Commissioner told me a few moments ago that when he started, there were horse and buggies as a sanitation department. Is that correct? A little bit after that, but okay, there you go. In any event, we want to thank the Commissioner for all of his work. I want to thank my colleagues who are with us today. I want to thank Senator Felder, Councilman Bill Hyken. I want to thank, of course, we're joined with Councilman Brennan. I want to thank the Chairman of our Community Board, Charles Perlstein. And here is Gabby Freelander. Gabby Freelander is representing Councilmember Brad Lander. Thank you, Gabby, so much for joining us as well. So basically, what we're trying to do here today, we're going to have the Commissioner speak, we're going to have some of our colleagues speak. We're really trying to encourage the community to realize that this cleaning up our community is really a community effort. There are several simple things that we can do that will keep our community clean. For one thing, the most obvious thing is that these trash cans, and this is one of the biggest complaints that I think all of us get as elected officials, they tend to overflow. The trash cans are not for your home or office trash. In fact, if you put trash in a trash can and you are caught, you get a $100 fine. It's not about the fine, it's really about doing the right thing. The second thing is that we see a lot of people using these trash cans in these corners to dump. A lot of people don't know this. And you know, we don't usually encourage people to do this, but in this case we will. The City of New York has a program where if you call 311 and you see someone dumping, and you just simply give them the license plate, they will track the person down. And when they catch that person, they're going to give them a fine of $1,500 and up, and you will actually get a reward. People don't know this. Now, normally we don't encourage this kind of behavior, but really one of the worst things that you could do, quite frankly, is to dump your garbage on the street corner. We get a lot of complaints about this. Avenue J, 16th Avenue, 13th Avenue, 18th Avenue. There are restaurants, people go out at night. It's really despicable, honestly. Anybody would dump their garbage on the corner simply to save a few bucks or because they want to shirk their responsibility. So if you see something, say something. Call 311, we'll track the person down, and you will actually get a reward for tracking the person down as well. Yeah, it's tomorrow's press conference with DOT. The final thing I want to point out, and that is, we get a lot of these complaints, a lot of people don't know, is that you need to clean your sidewalk and into the street 18 inches. A lot of people don't realize this. You're responsible to clean into the street, all the way into the street, 18 inches. If you have garbage in the street 18 inches, you are responsible. I actually especially want to thank Senator Felder. He passed through all the views of the City Council and limited the times that they can give out tickets, and it's between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that specifically limits those times when you can get a ticket. Now, if you get a ticket that you think it's unfair, believe it or not, I know it's shocking. Sorry?
For the residential.
For the residential, yes, absolutely. If you get a ticket, most of the time tickets are fair, but once in a while they're not. If they're not, you let us know. We work with the sanitation department to their credit. When tickets have been unfair, they've actually dismissed the tickets out of hand, and they've also opened an investigation as to why these tickets happened. And so we want to encourage everybody here to do what they can. And finally, we're working on trying to clean up the community. And in fact, I did a pilot program last year in Bensonhurst. We're looking to expand it this year, hopefully after the summer in Borough Park. But we're going to get folks from the outside to come and clean up the community. But we really need everyone in the community's help. And so I'd like to open it up. And I think we'll do start with Senator Felder, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Councilman Greenfield, Commissioner Doherty, for hosting this event. Can you hear me, Helen? We're here today to talk about a very important issue that has been plaguing our neighborhood. Garbage, and garbage all over the place. We need to do something about this as a community. And a first step is to educate our children from a very young age about basic Menschlichkeit, basic decency. We all know that children who give up their seat for an elderly person on the bus or who don't push ahead in line are the same children that are respectful and decent and don't throw garbage on the floor. We all want our children to be respectful, decent, and considerate. Not only do we need to educate our kids, but more importantly, we need to educate them by example. This means making sure that our garbage doesn't become somebody else's garbage. It means that we don't use public corner garbage cans as a personal dumping ground for private trash like tires, furniture, carpets, and household garbage. Garbage attracts roaches, rats, and mice throughout the neighborhood. It's dangerous, pigeons as well. It's dangerous and disgusting. This is where we all live and work, and we need to care about our neighbors and our neighborhood. I want to mention that together with Assemblyman Hyken, we didn't get this bill passed this year, but we look forward together working with Councilman Greenfield in the city, but getting it passed in the state. First, to pass a law that will have the sanitation enforcement agents have cameras. And the cameras do two things. First of all, it allows us to have proof as to whether there's a violation, so that when people do have garbage in front of their homes, there's no question about it. And it makes sure that the agents, most of whom are doing their jobs right, but there's always one or two that are not, and that it's clear that those tickets are, if they're not correct, that's clear in the photos. So we want to keep the neighborhood looking good, and the key is to education and educating our children from an early age. Thank you very much.
Can you get a ticket? I want to ask Assemblyman Hyken to talk to us. And Assemblyman Hyken, in case you don't know, this has been a garbage-themed week for him. Yesterday he was dealing with garbage in the libraries, and today he's dealing with actual garbage in the streets. So Assemblyman.
Yeah. First, it's great to be here with the elected officials and, of course, the commissioner. And I just want to, I told him earlier that people who actually pick up the garbage, I wish I could find a way publicly to be more thankful to them, because they do a great job. And in particular during the summer when we're all sweating when we go outside, just imagine what it's like for them to come down the streets and do their job. They really do fabulous. Maybe we could find a way to get them all together and say something nice publicly. With regard to you know, our community is clean. There are places that are not. I could walk with you right now when we finish most streets. You'll find that people who own $1 million homes or $500,000 homes, they care enough to make sure that the front of their homes are being taken care of. But you know, it is very, very easy when there's a little breeze outside for a piece of paper that was on this corner to end up in front of someone's house. And one of the very important things that I have stressed, that I spoke to the commissioner and something I've talked about, is that sanitation enforcement agents have to do their jobs, but they also have to have a heart. They have to have a heart. They have to, you know, when you come to a street, you come to someone's house, make believe that you own that house. Does that person deserve a violation? Yeah, there's a piece of paper. You know, it's blowing a little bit back and forth. I remember a story on 13th Avenue, in fact we have the video, where a sanitation agent was following the debris. You know, he was waiting to write out the ticket. He wasn't sure what address because the debris was moving over here, then the wind blew it the other way. It was quite funny. Share that with you if you like. We're not going to discuss what happened, but that actually happened. So we know that we want our community clean. You know, Councilman Greenfield, Simcha, we live in the community. We have our office in the community, we live in the community. People come to visit us in our offices. I don't want to bring someone to the community when the streets look, you know, sometimes not the way they should. So we all have a responsibility, every single person. But basically, we have a very, very clean community. There are people who are not clean. And I would ask sanitation, those people who don't care, and it is obvious. I can take you to places, they just don't care. They're just not interested. Do me a favor, give them the violations. And you can do it every hour on the hour, I would say do that. But overwhelmingly, the people in this community, they take care of their homes, they take care of their businesses. So I am very, very happy to be here. We all need to work together to make sure that our community is not rated at the very bottom. I mean, you know, this is we're trying to get the how they do the surveys in our community. Where exactly they have found our community to be at the very bottom. Our community, in terms of the city of New York, is considered one of the dirtiest. Okay, so I need to look at that. We want to find out where that is. Maybe it's only a couple of locations, and those locations are bringing it down. It's not fair. Why should the people on this block pay the price for additional enforcement? Because, you know, they come down heavy on you. They say that neighborhood needs more enforcement. You know what more enforcement means? More tickets. And by the way, tickets that people cannot afford to pay. When you're a homeowner and you're having difficulty making ends meet, when you're a senior citizen and you're just paying your bills, and suddenly you have a violation of $100 or more, very, very difficult. So we appreciate the commissioner working with our community, and all we ask for is fairness. That's all we ask for. We ask that sanitation agents not feel compelled to give out a certain number of tickets, you know, because otherwise, can you imagine a sanitation agent coming back to the office and telling the supervisor, I didn't give out any tickets today. The streets were clean. What can I tell you? I think they'll be spoken to. You couldn't find anything? Come on. So, David, thank you. Assemblymember Brennan, Chairman of the Planning Board, all of us, I'm delighted to be there. Enjoy the summer, everyone.
The commissioner was telling me that those agents who come back with clean streets, they get gold stars. So it's actually a good thing. I will just point out to the Assemblyman's point, which is an important point, is normally we're very proud to be #1 in this community. We have the most kids, we've got the most chesed, we've got the nicest people. Unfortunately, we have one sector in our community that's #1 in garbage, and we're certainly trying to rectify that. But your point is well taken. It is literally just one sector in the entire community, but we're trying to deal with that as well. We're very, very fortunate as well that we have another wonderful elected official, Councilman Jim Brennan, with us today. He represents parts of this community as well.
Thank you, Thank you, Councilmember Greenfield. I want to commend you for sponsoring this public education press conference about sanitation in the community. I think it's very important. I appreciate being here with my colleagues and Community Board 12, and one of the longest serving public servants in the City of New York, Commissioner Doherty, and he's even outlasted me and Assemblymember Hyken, serving longer than us.
I'm still working on it.
So am I.
I might work on mine.
But, you know, I think it's incumbent on all of us as elected officials and community leaders to be part and parcel of educating the public about sanitation. The laws change continuously, the fines differ, and we can have 99% of the community complying with the laws, but because we live in such a crowded and heavily populated and densely populated urban area, there's always going to be huge amounts of garbage and non-compliance. And so we just need to work with the Department of Sanitation. The laws are changing. The city government is now recycling more material than ever, and those laws continue to change. So it's just very important to do public education and to work with the sanitation department, for them to be sensitive to the community, and for us to work in a cooperative fashion and stick up for people who we think may have been unfairly treated, but also to try to make sure that we all do the best in making our community as clean as it possibly can be. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I don't know about the inducements, clean streets. clean beaches. But I will say that clean streets means less tickets, and I think Councilman pointed out, and it's a very important point as well, which is that we really all do have to work together. If you have cleaner streets, there is less enforcement. Less enforcement means less tickets, and obviously everybody benefits from that, not just from the streets, but from the tickets as well. Before I call the chairman of the community board, I do want to recognize that there are quite a few people who are here today that we work with regularly. I want to thank Maria Termini for the work that she does with all of our offices here. I know she works with all of us. I want to thank Henry Earhart for the work that he does as well. Thank you, Henry. And I want to thank, of course, Iggy Turnova for the work that he does as well. Thank you very much for all the work that you do working with our office day to day to try to resolve these issues. And now, Gil Perlstein to address us as well.
Thank you, Councilman Greenfield, for doing this whole event and helping out with it. I want to welcome the Commissioner. I didn't prepare a long speech because I figured I don't know what's going to end up happening with the paper. I didn't want to create any more garbage on streets over there. But I feel that it is necessary to thank the Commissioner for all his work. Sanitation is actually one of the only ones, I'm being a little blunt, in the city organizations, which is actually a pleasure to work with. Anything we need from the superintendent local there, Mike McAvoy from any era. So being here and just reaching out to the community, and there's not much to say because everybody said everything already, but just to follow up how important it is to keep the streets clean. And we do appreciate the Commissioner coming out here. The first time we met with Councilman Greenfield's office, the Commissioner never said the streets are dirty and we're going to go out there and just write a billion summonses. He said, let's do something about it. Let's create some press conferences. Let's see how we can work together with the community to try to resolve this and try to get us to be actually the #1 in being the cleanest. So thank you very much, Councilman Greenfield, the elected officials, and Commissioner for coming out here.
Thank you so much. I just want to say this, I think it's important. The commissioner is certainly a firm commissioner, but he's a fair commissioner. And he's somebody who's always worked with us, and he's certainly shown an interest in trying to work with our community, trying to find the trouble spots. And I will say that while we certainly get tickets, and sometimes they're unfair and sometimes we're frustrated, I know firsthand it's not what he's trying to do. His goal is really to try to keep our community clean. And quite frankly, if we had the same cooperation with him that as opposed to the NYPD, where they're out there literally just trying to give you gotcha tickets every day, I think we'd have less traffic and an easier parking situation. So I do want to commend him for that and recognize that I think overall he's trying his best. It's a very difficult job. We've got a lot of people. We're the largest community board in the community, the fastest growing community. We've got the most kids, the largest population, and kids, folks, mean one thing. It means two things. The first thing it means is no sleep. The second thing it means is lots of garbage, because just kids manufacture garbage. And so we're certainly grateful for the Commissioner working with us. Without further ado, Commissioner Doherty.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councilman Greenfield. And I want to thank Senator Felder for his participation over the years working with the department and working with the community. Assemblyman Doug Piken, Assemblyman Brennan, and Mr. Perlstein for his work in the community board. You know, we did, it was mentioned about the clean streets and clean waters. And that was something I did yesterday with Commissioner Carter Strickland over in Coney Island, highlighting the needs to keep our streets clean, because some of the litter in the streets go down a catch basin after a rain and a heavy rain. Unfortunately, some of the sewage treatment plants have to open up and let a little bit more material out into the waterways than we expect or we would like, and we end up with litter out there. So I think maybe you don't go swimming down in Coney Island, I don't know, but you do want to be respectful to your neighbors in keeping your streets clean. And I think we're here today to talk about the community, working with the community. And I think we've heard that from all the elected officials that were here this morning with us. We're talking about the community and the department working together to improve the community for all of us, for the people that live here and for the people that travel and come here and visit. So we all want to work together. And I think, as it was pointed out, one of our biggest problems is the litter baskets and how they're misused. We got places around here where everybody's bringing their household garbage out there and putting it in a litter basket. When I see litter baskets that are mostly with household garbage, there won't be a litter basket there anymore. It won't be there. It's going to disappear. And what I found out over the years, it's not 100% perfect, but that corner's clean. It's something about when you have a place where people perceive garbage is supposed to go, but in this case wanting to be litter, they bring it there. When you take it away, they refrain. They don't want to put it down because really they want to be clean and they think they're doing the right job and they think it's all right to put their garbage there, but it's not the right thing. They can't do that. But we're going to work on that. And, you know, the other difficulty here, which is, you know, can cut both ways. A lot of this area only has once a week parking, alternate side parking. And that's great that people have cars. But for a street cleaner like me...
Don't go there, Commissioner. Don't go there. Don't even think about it.
A guy like me, I got to worry about getting that street cleaner. When I only get in there once a week, it's tough. I'm not going there, but I'm just telling you, some places have twice a week. But once we get to number one, you know, we won't need it anymore. But, you know, if we fall down, we got to say, what else? We got the camera idea, which I have no problem with if the technology is there. So we got to look at what we have to do. We all have to work together as a community to improve it. And we have to once in a while say something to our neighbor. Hey, what are you doing that for? Let's keep the community clean. Let's work together on this thing. You know, writing summons is not something I want to do. I never liked writing summons when I was a young officer. I hated it, actually. But I had to do it once in a while. And we have to do that. We all have to do things in life we don't always want. Sometimes, like with our children, we have to tell our children, you can't do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. Sometimes it's a little annoying that we have to bother them, but we want to bring them up as good children, good parents, like most of everybody is here. So as a community, we all want to work together. And I think we started off on a right foot. We've worked so many years over here working with the community. I don't want to continue that mutual respect for each other and mutual effort in this community. I think we can work on it all together, and we'll keep improving it a little at a time. And it's a great community. It's a vibrant community. It's a huge community. I got to figure out where I'm going to go. But anyway, it's a great
pretty
place.
solid. Pizza's pretty solid. Yeah, we don't eat meat during the 9 days, so we recommend the pizza shop.
Well, that's right. Oh, pizza. I'll have to try it. Yeah. Okay, I'll see what it's like.
We got an A as well.
That's even better. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. The people behind me, they're the people that make it happen, really. They work with the community. They represent the people of this community. They do a lot of things for the community. And when they ask for a little help in addressing the issues in the community, we all got to respect them. We all got to work with them. That's what I'm here to do. Thank you very much.
I want to make everybody, we all like to complain when we get tickets. We're not happy about it, but I think it's easy to forget. I think that it was pointed out as well, someone pointed out, we are fortunate we really have the greatest sanitation workers in New York City over here. These are folks, it's not just during the summer. Yeah, give them a big round of applause, absolutely. It's not just during the summer. Before Pesach, before Sukkot, the holidays, the extra trash collections, I mean, they are working overtime for our community, and we really are very grateful. And I really want to thank Superintendent McAvoy. We actually honored him last month at the community board meeting for his work. Chief Priester and Deputy Chief Montanino as well for their cooperation. We're really very grateful. And just so you know, 9 times out of 10 we're saying nice to say about you guys, and we really are grateful. We know you work hard, and especially out here at the holidays, we're really incredibly grateful. The second thing I want to say is that the Commissioner and I are working to try to find appropriate funding for a pilot program that would actually put cameras on the corners to capture folks who are dumping garbage in the streets. And I'm working with the assembly members, the senator, and the community board chairman. We're working on a program to try to get our store owners to pitch in to work on cleaning the neighborhoods as well. It's something that we're hoping to do, God willing, after the summer. And so with that, we want to thank you all. We want to encourage you again, and I want to remind folks that cleaner streets mean better quality of life, but it also means less tickets. So it's literally win-win-win for everybody. And with that, we'll be happy to take questions from the press and the public as well.